Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu. King, tell him. Is that you?
And we finally here with the review.
This is episode 346 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast, where you can get access to the pre-show, which goes live 2 days before this episode airs. It goes live for everyone on all podcast services every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Shout out to the Patreon producers, explicitly Cad the Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast, Fear, Semi Sensei, Frozen, T Money Figures, Dad Needs to Talk, Christian the Archivist, aka the Death Scythe, All for One Mad Rob, Stone, Matthew H, and last but certainly not least, TK Does Archery. Thank you so much for supporting this and many other episodes of the podcast. We truly couldn't do it without you. Mic Check Waifu is the anime podcast that's brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. I think I said that already. But we bring you seasonal topics, conversations, and reviews. Today, at the end of the podcast, we're going to be reviewing Journey with Witch from last season, which was our last season, end of the last season review, as well as giving you some spoiler talk for a couple of shows that we want to discuss at the end of the episode. But before we get into that, the second half of spring is here. Everything is out. And we're here to discuss it now. It's interesting, but before we get into that, what was your episode of the week this week?
I'm going to say I didn't watch anything that released today on Monday because y'all know we were recording a little late. My apologies. My episode of the week is Hat Atelier.
Okay, good episode. Yeah, very good episode. My episode of the week this week is, I gotta make sure I get the name right. Gals Can Be Kind to Otaku. We're going to talk about a surprise hit. That is one that is a big surprise hit. And I'm going to discuss that, more of that here shortly. But before I get into that, I just want to say last week, Joe mentioned that his episode of the week was Nippon. Nippon and Sengoku, the three nations of the Crimson Sun. I watched that episode. And I thought it was probably one of the worst paced shows I've ever seen in my life. Terribly paced, awfully paced, but it looked beautiful. And I think if I didn't get blown back the week prior, that terrible pacing, it would have made up for that terrible pacing. But they had a lot to say. They had so much to say in that episode, so they kind of had to do this jumping around, fade to black, jumping around, fade to black, jumping around, fade to black, jumping around, fade to black. Then I grew attached to no one. I didn't care about anybody or anything. So it was piss poor pacing. I didn't watch episode 2 yet because it's on Amazon Prime and I can only watch that in my bedroom on my TV. But I can't wait to see what episode 2 brings because I have a feeling that episode 1 was the issue because they had so much information to get out. Hopefully. So maybe it's better. I don't know. It could not be.
I hate to say this. When I say this, right? Because I really enjoyed episode 1, and it could have been like the shock value. You know what I mean? Shock and all is a thing, right?
Of course.
Episode 2, a lot less somber, and I don't want to say too much because I already spoiled too much of episode 1, right? Mm-hmm. Episode 2 is gonna a lot of the same looks, almost an entirely different feel. If that makes sense. Okay. So
we shall see. All right. Let's quickly get into some new shows that came out, including, if you don't mind, sorry, I want to start with Your Sleeper that dropped. Eren the Southpaw. Yeah. Episode 1 dropped of that. What is your thoughts? I'll let you go first since it's Your Sleeper.
All right. I chose this because it's art based, right? Because of my affinity and attachment to art. Mm-hmm. I think it is nice looking, mad decent, but I'm not even gonna say but. It's a little emotional and edgy for me. But don't do that. Leave me alone. You know what? Do you understand what I'm saying 100%. By emotional and edgy? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I do have hope. I have hope that it turns out better than what this first episode was. And this is me saying I don't think it was like the worst first episode I've ever watched. It's just a little edgy, a little teen angsty, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was awful. That shit was bad. That shit was so bad. It was like, I didn't find anything redeeming of it, to be honest. I'm watching, I'm like, I just can't. I don't like anybody. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to the emotional outburst and angst that you just so eloquently described. It's a poor imitation of what the blue period is. I don't know. It's not good. It has no depth yet. But I don't. It's not the worst one you chose, but it's probably bottom 3 that you chose so far already.
I'm not sure about that. Not yet. We gotta give it at least 3 episodes before we figure it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about it. But you're right. We should give it 3 until we coin it. But I fucking damn well coin it. Just like I'm gonna coin MarriageToxin. That's probably one of the worst shows I've ever watched. That shit was, and I just want to quote from the great TK Does Archery. He says, "What a snooze fest." That show was fucking. I was not interested in the slightest. I didn't even want to continue. I don't want to continue it. I already dropped it the moment. I think it was about 65% into the episode. I didn't even want to take the time to finish the last 30% or whatever the fucking percentage is. I just didn't want to touch it anymore. I'm over it. I don't care. I don't want any parts of this. I'm disinterested. I'm cool. I'm cool.
Everything can't be free rent. Here's the thing, right? I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I 100% knew when watching this, I was like, Polow's gonna think this is garbage, right? He's gonna think this is hogwash. He's gonna hate it. And I completely understand why. Because the whole thing is like, it's pushing this, I'm doing it for the sake of scenario. Mm-hmm. Or I'm doing it not even for my own will and desires kind of scenario where, it's a little forced. Very forced. Yeah. But I hope that it has some kind of redeeming qualities with how they put the fact that it's not going to be these two specifically together, but a scenario where they are using each other to help each other. So hopefully it has some redemption there. Sure.
I couldn't give a fuck less, bro. It just, oof. Man,
I saw that 3 miles away.
It's so many other things to watch that I'm like would prefer. I'm gonna be honest, this season isn't really, while the stuff that's hitting is hitting pretty well. The returning stuff is what has me hooked, and then maybe 1 or 2sies so far. That's like, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I can't wait for this to come by. And what
I'm really interested in, what's hitting for you?
What's hitting for me outside of returning?
Yes, outside of returning. What's new that's hitting?
Which Hat Atelier? Mm-hmm. Obviously, beautiful. Dude, we didn't talk about that last week, did we?
No, we didn't,
because it didn't come out yet.
Yeah, it released on Monday, so it would have been.
Daemons of the Shadow Round is probably the easiest watch every single week. That shit fucking flies by. What an incredible show that is so far. But we already talked about that last week. And gals can be kind to Otaku. Big surprise, smash.
I did not watch it, and I have to, right? Because it is on my list.
You 100% have to.
It's that good?
It's that good. So, what this gives me, what was that one show? Danger's in My Heart, but a lot less of the cringe part of it, right? Danger's in My Heart, the beginning of it was hard because of his angstiness and forced dark solitude. Dude attitude. This one is just like, Otaku understands his position, but he's put in a position where he's introduced to these two gals who are just the most loveliest characters ever. They're just such sweethearts. And the main character is an absolute sweetheart. So I can already see this being one of the top shows this season, if not the best show this season, best new show this season, because it is so endearing, so quality, so much fun, and everybody is so likable so far.
And I'm gonna jump on that one because I really like where that's going. And I feel like this might be, we have had quite a few seasons where the slice of life is like the hard carry, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you like this one or if you even watched it, but I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I do. I did.
I really enjoyed that. I thought that immediately came on. I'm like, this kind of hit.
Why is the animation so crazy in that joint?
It is really good. And I wasn't expecting it to kind of be like what it is, but when it played out and I saw the whole first episode, I was like, oh, and then they hit us with the cliffhanger. That's the only thing I do hate. I hated that cliffhanger. Yeah. But I'm gonna rock with it because I feel like this show really gave me hope, almost to the same extent of which Hat Atelier, but it really gave me hope before giving me that cliffhanger.
Yeah. I feel the same way about that one, to be honest. And to be fair, if it wasn't for Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku, that probably would have been my episode of the week because it was just so clean. It was a very clean episode. Again, I like it when it's not, we talk about this all the time, but when a character is not a bumbling fool or completely incompetent, it's much more, I won't want to say relatable because I'm 34 years old, but it's much more easy to watch, to handle, to tolerate, opposed to the ones that pretend to be stupid and just overly cautious or embarrassing to themselves, etc.
And that's true because they're high school students, but you don't have to be stupid.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
You're in high school, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Not every situation is going to put you in a situation to where you feel that way. Yeah, that would have been my episode of the week if it wasn't for Girls Can't Be Otaku. To be honest, it was really, really good. And then, I did watch Liar Game.
Oh, brother! All right, hear me out. Hear me out.
I watched 2 episodes of this one.
Well, did the new episode come out today, right?
Yeah, it came out today.
That's why I didn't watch the second episode. But I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't enthused.
No,
I was not enthused at all to watch the second episode. I was unenthused, if anything.
Yeah.
Man, why is this show so kind of lame?
Yeah, it's terrible.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even use the word lame. The show is kind of...
me either, but honestly, that's the perfect definition of what this show is.
They used her character for this kind of like stark comparison, right? Yeah. Of what the show is supposed to be. She's honest, but it's the liar game. How does she make it through? And what sucks is that, like...
It's not even really what...
Well, they have to create a sense of desperation. I feel like they didn't create that. You know what I mean? Yeah. As a viewer, for the scenario they put, I'm saying, but you know what I mean? It's like, I didn't feel it.
Right.
It didn't feel real. It didn't feel, and mind you, it's anime, right? It didn't translate well. Exactly. It's like when we were watching Lord of Mysteries, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you get that scene where we found out dude is living forever and he's had to lose so many families. Mm-hmm. Did that translate well? You know what I mean? Like, that felt crazy because I almost felt like if I could be in his shoes, exactly how horrible that feels.
Crushing.
She lost 100 million or $1 million. You know what I mean? And it's like, you have to pay that back for the rest of your life. I feel you don't seem like you feel anything for this moment. I'm very confused.
Yeah, she did. She was distraught, but she got 30 days to try to get it back. But even still, like, you're just in debt. Like, is anybody gonna kill you? Like, give me more stakes. I want death. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want something. And even death wouldn't help make the show any less lame. But it's not one I'm seeing past probably the third, but I am going to watch the third just because my list is kind of thinning out already after getting rid of MarriageToxin and some other stuff.
I can say my list will also be thinning out almost expeditiously.
Yeah, quite easily. Another Another thing I watched that I know you didn't watch is, and I was putting this off for a very, very long time until yesterday, which was Sunday, when you told me like, hey, let's record Monday. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just fit this in real quick then. And that's Even a Replica Can Fall in Love. So I watched that, and it's very Plastic Memories-esque, almost, kind of, sort of. And as far as the tone goes, what it's about this girl who's, so far, all we know is that she's living her life, and whenever she doesn't feel good, she poof out this replica version of herself. Don't know the lore behind that or whatever the case may be. And this replica of herself goes to school for her, or she goes places for her, or she, talks to her mom for her. She just does her things, but as the replica. And she goes to school for her, and she realizes that her real self don't interact with anybody. She's a complete loner, and she deals with no one, period, in the entire school. But the replica goes so much that she ended up making, is becoming closer to her best friend than she actually is in real life. It's hard to talk about because it's a whole replica deal. And then she meets this guy who is a former sports ball player. Don't know what sport he played yet, and he joins the literature club that she's a part of. And you could tell like where this is going, and they're going to fall in love with each other, while the real version of herself isn't a part of that. But they basically spent the entire episode explaining how she came about, how she just poofed into existence. And it's all because she wanted to apologize to her best friend because she couldn't do it for some reason. So she poofed out this replica, and the replica did it for her. It's all very just, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense logically from a magical standpoint. I don't understand how or why, but the characters are interesting. Do I care enough? Nah, not even in the slightest.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it good though? You know what I mean?
But it's not a bad show. That's what I'm.
Okay.
It's not a bad show. It's paced well. The characters are likable. I just don't care at all. I just don't find myself being attached to anybody in this show yet, in comparison to what we got so far with everything else. But I'll give it 3. That's for sure.
So I did watch something ridiculous. All right. It's actually ridiculous. It's called My Ribdiculous Reincarnation.
Oh my God. I saw that one and I was not interested.
I'm just gonna be honest here. All right. Before we even go any further, the odds of me dropping this are like 99%. Right. Yeah. I'm just gonna be honest. But it is so ridiculous.
Guy gets reincarnated as a hero's rib.
Yes, literally that, right? You saw it? Did you see the first episode?
Absolutely not. No.
It's literally ridiculous. It's going to be horrible. This is literally that slop we talked about.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally doing everything we talked about when we mentioned slop, about how it's here just to make fun of all of the tropes and things within these anime spectrums, and just turn them on their head and try and make something good out of it. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch these 3 episodes. I'm going to turn it off.
That's crazy.
I'm probably going to give it a negative review. But it's actually legitimately bad. I'm not going to recommend watching it. I'm just letting you know I'm going to watch 3, turn it off, and then we out of there.
More power to you. Okay. Anything else new? Oh yeah, the Warrior Princess and the Barbarian King. What are your thoughts?
I wasn't expecting the beginning, but I am actually intrigued to see where this goes, and I hope that it turns out well. Only because I was very off put by the beginning. That's all I got to say. I was very off put by the beginning, and the imagery they tried to present, and not them, the character. But I think it'll actually turn out really, really good. I think it's going to be a decent show.
I don't know. I don't like it either. This is not my season. I didn't find this to be at all interesting, or a main character is not. I don't like her. I don't like the Barbarian King. I think I find it to be sort of inappropriate. It feels very, for some reason, and I don't know why, I get this weird uncomfortableness to it. I just don't know. It's something about it I just don't find to be. I don't want to watch it, but I'm gonna give it 3.
And that's exactly, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at, is that like the way that it was portrayed in that beginning was very uncomfortable. And even so, it still feels a little coercive. Mm-hmm. It does still feel that way. But that doesn't mean that it can't end up being somewhat like good and respectful. I'm not sure how this is going to go.
In the video I talked about in the pre-show tell, the guy mentioned, and this is a topic I think I want to bring for next week, because I think it's very important, because it's something we discuss a lot on the show, but there's something he and I'm gonna say he coined it. I'm not sure if it's a coin by him or not, but I've heard it in his video first, so I want to give him credit for it. And y'all gonna know what I'm talking about in the second half of the show during spoiler talk. But he mentioned something called trope blinders. Every show has already existed. So every trope that you see in anime has already existed once before. It all depends on the viewer on if you're able to put on those trope blinders. So for instance, we talk about Bleach a lot, and it being one of our favorites, classic shonen that we constantly discuss. It has a lot of tropes in it from every other shonen, but is it good enough to have trope blinders? And it is very much so good enough to have those trope blinders, because it is written well, it's paced well, it's the power fantasy done right. We feel it's a lot of things that we feel that it does well. This one, I can't put up trope blinders. I see where this is going already. You assume that these barbarians are heathens and horrible people, but when you meet them, they're friendly, they're nice, they're caring for their people, they're loving on that side, and that's the trope that's going to pull. Is it good enough to have those trope blinders? For me, no, absolutely not. Because again, I don't care about her. I don't care about him. I don't care about her old village. I don't care about this new one. And mind you, we didn't really get introduced to the new one quite yet, but I'm uninterested in the way it was all executed from the beginning to especially towards the end. It's weird, and I don't like it. So we shall see we shall see where it go. I'll give it 3. That's one I'm gonna force myself to watch 3 of, because I got a feeling it's gonna be hard for me to do. All right, and I think that's it for all the new stuff.
Just real quick, I watched The Classroom of the Black Hat and the Witch. I feel like it's extremely predictable, but it is actually just kind of like a pretty easy watch. But I do think it's gonna be predictable.
Yeah, that one got a 62.
Yeah. Did I watch anything else? Akabanashi. The Strongest Job is apparently not a hero's hate. You already watched that one.
Yeah.
Oh, The Drops of God. It's an anime about wine. Actually has some very good animation for certain scenes. I don't think it will be as good as The Glass of God.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to also give this one like 3 episodes and cut it off too. I'm just going to be honest with you. But I'm going to give it a chance. And I think that might be... Oh, I did watch Always a Catch. So I did catch up on that, by the way.
Yeah.
And
good.
I can definitely see where we're going with that one. And
that one got better in the second episode.
Yeah. So that's it.
All right, let's talk. Wano Wistoria is back. Okay. And then let's kind of touch on some episode 2s if we like to on some of our favorite shows this season. Wano Wistoria is back. And I got to say, it was a brilliant return. A beautiful return, and I'm glad it's back. But I also want to make sure I give the proper credit to whoever said this in the Discord as well. Was it either TK or Fear? One of them. Oh, and I do want to give also a special shout out to Dad Needs to Talk, and I believe it's TCB. Yeah, Daddy's talking TCB for helping out with, posting the new episodes and stuff in the forum so we can all partake in that. And it was TK does archery. Absolutely phenomenal first episode. This show's pacing is amazing. This show, again, if we rate it on a Mic Check Waifu scale, which you're going to hear about a little bit later in this episode, Wanda and Wistoria's pacing, and I think I said this last season too, is a perfect 10, which with the way it's paced. It gives you everything you need. It doesn't fully rush through, but it also doesn't trickle and cross to a snail's pace at any given point. It gets its point across and it's very poignant, right? Like it's very straight to the point. I absolutely love it. Great return.
Wanda Wistoria, that was my sleeper pick, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But so here's my thing. I was a little heartbroken with this episode, but I understand as well, right? And my whole thought process through this episode is that there has to be something that drives him to be able to still ascend or whatever, right?
And you're looking at it.
Yeah, you're looking at it. The chaos has entered the chat.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I just knew something had to happen, right?
Right.
I didn't think it was going to happen like that, though. Yeah. Not this first episode, if that makes sense. But they introduced the chaos immediately, and I rock with that. I really like that. Because like you said, it was the pacing. Because I didn't know what to expect, and even if it didn't happen that way in the episode, I would be like, okay, that was still a cool episode. Yeah. Like it was getting us started.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
They got us started and then turned the engine all the way up, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
they at full RPMs right now.
And it makes sense after what we went through last season when you really think about it, right? Like at the end of last season, they just barely made it through, and then they get hit with this shortly after, which is very much appropriate for what they were doing because I guess it would be technically a spoiler, but the bad guy at the end was like, okay, let's go. We have to go do this other thing at the end of that last season. We didn't know what that other thing was.
And it's only been like, what, a day or two since the actual last season happened, right?
No, I think it's been like a week or so or something like that.
Yeah, but it hasn't been like a long amount of time, you know what I mean? Because there was one point where they were saying like it was just the other day. Yeah. And now it's the new year. Yeah. So it literally is like, it's been, if anything, at most a week, but it's like a very quick time span of what's happening here.
You gotta assume you take all these finals and it's a day each final. So.
I'm also thinking that because the last thing was a final, you know what I mean? It was
back-to-back days. It was a practical, yeah.
So it was like back to back. So I was assuming, you're jumping into these, but either way, like we've said, the pacing here is off the charts because it gives you time to digest, but gives you something else to eat while you're doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, indeed. I'm glad it's back, man. I'm glad it's back. It's a great show. All right, now to discuss some of the shows that got episode 2s, how many of these episode 2s lost you? As far as like new shows go?
Demons of the Shadow Realm. Demons of the Shadow Realm, I feel like I am more intrigued after episode 2. Petals of Reincarnation.
Yeah,
a little iffy, iffy there.
That's one of the ones.
Like what you say, trope blinders?
Yeah,
them kind of coming off.
Yeah, because what happened? And I'm gonna talk about the spoilers of the first episode. Okay, so if you didn't watch it last week or watch it last week after I talked about it last week, I'm gonna just spoil it now. At the end of episode 1, he was very poignant on taking the abilities of even the people who he's closest to. And that's what I thought was the hook for me to want to watch it. And then the second episode, they kind of continue that thread per se. He kind of goes through some training and you meet all the other reincarnators or whatever. And then towards the end of this one, she mentions like, yeah, I want my power to become strong enough for you to want to take it. And I'm like, I don't care anymore now. I'm disinterested because it was cooler when he was learning to use his power or trying to become that, and it was secret that he was going to take their power. Like, I would have loved it if he would have kept it low key. Like, okay, I plan on taking all you motherfuckers' power, even if you are on my side, and that becoming some cool thread or plot point that we can deal with, and that it would have been fun. It would have been a fun plot point to deal with. But now it's just turning into slop shonen bullshit that I don't care about. So it gets one more from me, and that's it.
Ramparts of Ice.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be I think Ramparts of Ice is gonna be a super easy chill watch this season. Yeah. But I will say that for most of the slice of life we have already, going to be an easy watch this season. Yeah,
slice of life is carrying again this season by a lot. They include Nakane Bashi and Always a Catch and.
Did you watch Akane Banashi? I didn't know you watched.
Yeah. I talked about it last week.
You did. You did watch it last week. My bad.
Yeah, it's the show I gave the perfect end to.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I do say Ramparts of Ice was a way better episode than episode 1 for me. Again, to go back to what next week's topic is going to be, the trope blinders. I'm slowly starting to put them on for this one, even though last week I'm like, okay, I already know where this is going. Because I'm starting to like the characters more.
Right.
And it's growing on me. It's growing on me more. Even though I didn't hate it, right? I just know I've seen this 100,000 times before.
I mean, Mr. Slice of Life.
Yeah. And then New Game, man. I think New Game got better as well. I
mean, New Game was already going to be good, in my opinion. Yeah. And that could be a little biased, but I feel like anytime we have a well monologued protagonist, it's gonna hit for us personally. And I say that even for like the action anime we watch, the slice of life anime we watch, the mystery, the psychological anime we watch, any of those, as long as the protag can think on his feet and discuss what he's doing without like making us feel like we're being overfed, it's always going to be a hit.
Just logical reasoning is all we ask for. That's it. If you can give us logical reasoning within your slice of life or your reasoning behind some stuff, then we're good. We're good. It has to make sense though.
Right.
All right, man. That's it for this season. That's it for this season. Now, do we want to go into the theory first and then go into the review after we get to know Mike Check Waifu?
I'm going to be real with you. I want to do the review first.
Got it.
Because I feel like the ReZero theory, we know who's here for that.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
Let's do the review first, though. The review is important.
The review is important. This week, let's get to know Mike Check Waifu before we do that, though. This part of the podcast where one of us rolls a random number generator. So you can bring up a random number generator. I already had it. Let's pull it up. So one of us rolls a random number generator. The other reads a question associated with that number. Our list is spotty, but that's what makes it so much fun.
50.
We're going to go until we have whatever the last number is too, by the way.
All right.
What anime do you think has the best soundtrack overall? What a great question.
Oh, brother.
That's easy.
I'm biased.
Are you?
I think I'm super biased.
What you about to say?
Samurai Champloo.
No.
It was the first one that came to mind.
I'm not going to let you say that. I'm not going to let you say that.
What is it?
Come on. How do you not know?
Because I'm thinking, I'm going to be real with you. I'm thinking like,
Made in Abyss, bro. Made in Abyss is the best.
Listen, hear me out. I went there and then I went Vivi's Fluorite Ice song because I was thinking about some of that song. You know I love Parasite the Maxim. I listened to the whole album. Made in Abyss is the most emotional though.
None of those come close. And I love Samurai Champloo's soundtrack. Don't get me wrong. I love Clannad's soundtrack too because of the emotional beats that it has to that. Quality sound wise. Like just emotional beats and placements. Nothing beats Made in Abyss.
But we talking about soundtrack, not sound design within the show directly.
We're talking about we're talking about soundtrack, and that is Made in Abyss soundtrack. Made in Abyss soundtrack is the orchestras and
the so I can think of it right now. You ain't got to do all that. What I'm saying this, and this is the point I'm arguing. This is the point I'm arguing. Would you listen to Made in Abyss soundtrack
Yes.
right now?
I do. It's in my playlist for my stream.
I understand that. Me too. But what I'm talking about is would you listen to it right now, or would you listen to Samurai Champloo, Vivi Flores, Ice Song?
None of those.
None of those. Okay.
I'm not listening to any one of those. I will listen to how many tracks are on? Is actually on the Made in? I don't even know it, but it's inside of my stream playlist. Made in Abyss soundtrack list. There is a total. Okay, just tell me the total. And every last one of these songs I have, and I would love to listen to. Mm-hmm. I love to listen to. Not I would love to. I love to listen to.
Yeah,
there's over 100 plus.
I can attest to that. I can agree with that.
But yeah, all I know is this one right here. Season 1 track list 1 through 25. This is the one I have. Dude, Rico's theme is amazing.
We're not. Look, I'm not disagreeing that the soundtrack isn't amazing. I'm never going to disagree with that.
Where's YouTube?
I'm never going to say that's not amazing. Not once in my life ever. You can't play the song. We're going to get blown back on the.
If I keep it below 7 seconds.
All right. I don't know how you're going to do that.
It's very hard. I gotta find a good one. Right. No. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. We're gonna be blown.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good though. You can't.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But you prefer Samurai Champloo?
I just. It's not even that I prefer it. I'm just thinking about the actual track list and what I would listen to on a regular basis. Like, and I only say this because, hear me out.
I am a lo-fi man.
The Expedition 33. I listen to that soundtrack on a regular basis, like every day or day to day, like every other day kind of thing. It's a regular for me. So I see what you're saying. I do have Made in Abyss in my playlist, so I can see why it would happen. And I'll be fair. While I have Made in Abyss in my playlist, I don't have any Samurai Champloo songs in my playlist.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't even have Parasite the Maximum in my playlist right now. So I see what you're saying. That was the first one to come to mind. I feel like I gotta stick with that since it was the first one that came to mind.
Oh, I just play like 2 seconds of Made in Abyss, the song Made in Abyss. Chills. My hairs on my arms just standing. It's fucking crazy how good that shit is. All right. Now, let's get into the explanation of what the review consists of, Tel, if you don't mind. Let's see. Mic Check Waifu Waifu is known for our reviews. We have a very, I wouldn't call it strict review system, but a very unique review system that allows us to take it as objectively as possible and give our scores by using our subjective thoughts on 5 categories. The 5 categories consist of animation, which is the art style, visual direction, scenery, overall viewing experience, sound design, the soundtrack, the composition, sound effects, and how well it tied to the visuals, pacing, episode to episode strength and continuity, and how well the story developed and unfolded as the series went on, plot, the overall story, and how well it was written, and how the story that was told resonated with us. And then last but certainly not least, my favorite category, characters. The relatability, the overall development, and the growth of the characters, and how memorable they were throughout the series. This is going to be the review of Journal with Witch, last season's surprise hit in our community. We like to start off with our overall thoughts on how we feel about Journal with Witch. Now, we had a few weeks to sit on it now this time. Overall, how do you feel about it?
One of the most refreshing watches I've had in a very long time. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was a surprise hit, but I feel like once we got to a point, it was no longer a surprise. It was just a hit. And the lulls of that show provided so much like emotional evaluation within some things that I just watched. I thought it was great all the way through. I am going to say I'm gonna love this kind of show every time. Where it's in depth like this, where it's what's up?
I was about to say, well, what kind of makes you say that?
It's in depth, but more like, so the show doesn't just require the characters to have like some kind of emotional development or understanding, but it requires some kind of resonance with what's happening within the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like even if you aren't necessarily how they would say like emotionally intelligent, right? Watching the show and just having like just paying attention to what's happening, you don't have to be necessarily emotionally intelligent. You just have to see what's happening and see that it feels emotionally real, if that's a thing. If that's what I mean. Like for an anime, it feels emotionally real, and that's what really draws me to Journal with Witch. It's just it's a clear story. It's a clear point. It's very straightforward, and it's not holding really anything back, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. As we do with every review, starting off.
What about you? Hold up.
Oh, my thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, it was, I'm glad I went back to it after watching the initial 15 seconds, because it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be this weird, girls love romance that I just was disinterested in. But it's nowhere near that. And it is, and it's probably one of the better written slice of lives I've seen in a very long time, because everything that it said was meaningful, and it had a lot to say, and all of it was meaningful as far as the points it made. I guess two gripes with the show is that I didn't like the singing portion, which was the very last bit of it, and when it happened, but that's part of the phobia I have. I just don't like it. It angers me for some reason. We talked about that a few episodes ago. But other than that, the last gripe I would probably say was probably the ending. I didn't like the lack of resolution. I didn't quite feel was there. And that was the only gripes I had with it. Everything, the journey was phenomenal, though. I mean, every part of it was spectacular as far as the journey goes. And sometimes that alone is enough to carry it regardless of what the end is, you know? So I think it's well worth the watch for everybody to watch. And I'm not saying everybody as far as everybody that's into anime. I mean everybody. And I mean my mother, people that don't watch anime. I mean everybody should watch this show because it's just that good. I need them to get a dub so I could recommend it to somebody like my mom, because there's no way she's gonna be able to read subtitles with her bad eyes. But it's just one of those shows that I wanna find a way to get it in front of people, if they're anime watchers or not. That's how I feel. That's how strongly I feel about it. But with the review being as objective as it is, and there's different portions of what we need to rank, who knows what the score is going to turn out to be. With that being said, starting off with animation, art style, visuals, direction, scenery, overall viewing experience.
So when I was looking at our review scale, and I was literally thinking this before I was going in, like, it's not just the art style, the visuals. The visuals are the direction of the anime, visually for the animation, the scenery, the overall viewing experience. I'm not saying, because I don't think it was like peak animation,
right?
Not by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? But the animation suited the direction that they were trying to provide.
That's what direction is. Yep.
It was very emotionally significant in the parts that it needed it to be, to show you what they were trying to demonstrate. With the oasis, with the desert, with things fading in and out, how things were laid throughout the rooms in the house and things like that, right? So while I can't say it was perfect animation, I think that the direction really carries for this, and I don't think the direction ever missed. So I gave this an 8.5 for animation.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just say now that's exactly where my score is. It literally 8.5 as well because of everything you just said, and it's stylized, right? So it's not going to be visually, fucking Demon Slayer, or it's not going to be visually. I mean, a perfect example is how visually appealing I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. That, for some reason, that animation to me on this review scale is a 9 because it was so fluid and visually just stunning. And again, it was directed well. This was carried by the direction, and absolutely just the overall viewing experience to my eyes was pleasant. And it's 8.5 because of that. If it wasn't, now if the direction wasn't as good as you said it was, or if it wasn't as if it wasn't as stylized as it, if it tried to use like a different stylization, I even think it'd be lesser than. Okay. But I think 8.5 is the perfect roundabout for something like this. It doesn't offer flash and bang and volume, you know what I mean, to the animation, but still delivers enough.
Yeah, like oddly enough, the animation almost feels part of the plot, if that makes sense. Like it feels like it's tied to that. And that's what I mean by direction. I feel like it was so tied to what they were trying to relay that it just came through well, regardless of how amazing it looked or not.
Yeah, exactly. Me starting off with sound design, this was a surprise to me because every moment that occurred that offers some soundtrack underlying whatever the tone was set, it was set by that soundtrack. I should say the tone was set by that soundtrack, and it stuck out to me. It's even before we decided to review this. This is one of the things that stood out to me. I gave the soundtrack a 9, or sound design a 9, because of that. The soundtrack alone, the music that played when it played was so emotionally tying to the scene that it was depicting that I just loved it. This is another one I could probably take a couple of songs from this soundtrack and listen to now and be like, oh, this is fucking great. And it was emotional. It was emotional. And I like that. So it was a 9 for me.
I agree with everything Polow said. I'm thinking about like how they use like certain bell chimes and things in the show, not necessarily to signify as like a message or anything, but when things shifted for certain scenarios and things like that. The show has heavy emotional context, and I agree with Polow on everything he said, that like the way that it sounds drives that connection that you get to it. Yeah. I gave it an 8.5 just because I just the show itself and the sound design was so like it would sink you into what you're watching already. So it felt like I was just so engaged by like the animation and the sound design like simultaneously that I couldn't really separate them too much. It just felt like they were both dragging me in, and it's the relevance of how they linked each scenario with how it was paced, or not paced, but how it was put together with that animation and sound design. Like everything correlated perfectly for me.
My definition of like great sound design is like, let's say you got a soundtrack like Made in Abyss or Clannad, that when you see a scene, you hear the sound. That very important to the soundtrack. But then you talk about sound design. Then you talk about Fire Force, or you talk about Demon Slayer, where the sound design is heavy. You could feel it. It feels visceral. If you could put those two together, that is the perfect 10 out of 10 sound design. And it's very hard to get a 10 out of 10 sound design for me, but I think that's the way to do it, essentially. As long as you have both of those together, to me, I think it's well done.
I keep thinking about the Oasis, bro. Yeah. And I know it's probably like one of my favorite scenes, but the Oasis is, I can hear just right now, literally from that very same scene. What was that, like episode 9 or 10? Like I'm listening to it in my head right now as we talk, and it's like I can still hear it. And I feel like that's what we're talking about here, is how impactful it was.
Yeah, yeah. Pacing, Tell, if you don't mind. Pacing is episode to episode strength and continuity, and how well the story developed and unfolded as the series went on.
So when initially watching this, I initially had no idea how fast the show was going. That how fast the year was going for her.
That's true.
But I think it also showed so well with the pacing, like the signs of grief, that the significance of how fast it was actually going for her, and how I was like digesting the moments, didn't feel like I was like light years behind or like I was disconnected from anything. I thought the pacing was damn near perfect. I gave it a 9.5. I thought like there was so much that just went well with the pacing. I'm not gonna say I was dejected by the end. You know what I mean? Like, I thought the ending was still very good, but I do think that how it transpired was very quick in comparison to how quick the show already was.
Yeah, I have to say, it's unironic that me and you are pretty much on the same page here. The pacing I thought was good. It was great, actually. And again, damn near perfect, as you said. Very well said. It was damn near perfect. The problem I have between the last 2 or 3 is maybe 2 or 3 episodes, or maybe even 4 episodes, where it started to fall a little bit. Where it started to kind of come down from the point of progressing, where the pacing of the progressing kind of felt flat. And not flat as in bad, but like it didn't move forward until like the very, very end. But I just thought it was damn near perfect. It was a 9.5 for me as well. And I had that in my head even before you started talking. 9.5 pacing for sure is where I stand on that too. Now this is where we might differ here. Because I think we always differ here between the plot.
Yeah. We always do.
And the characters. But the plot to me offers it's tough, man. It's tough. Because the plot is very important. But I think the characters made the plot what it is. So to put it into perspective, I think that the plot was fine. You know, handling grief, how do you handle it, etc. I think that was just a 9.5. The overall story was
this guy.
The overall story was good. I just don't think it was perfect in any stretch at all. Actually.
Oh my goodness.
But the way I handle plot and characters are very, very different. So I think the plot is there. I mean, you got, how do you handle grief in a situation to where you're thrusted to live with your aunt, in a situation to where you don't know how to necessarily handle your grief? Fine. It was a fine plot. It didn't get any resolution at the end of the plot. We didn't really get much in the way of the plot changing. But
bro,
what did you think about the plot?
I'm not trying to laugh at you. I'm just saying you gave it a 9.5, bro. Yeah. What? Are you serious, man? And I'm saying that as in like, as a viewer, right? Because I think a 9.5 is very valid, by the way, 100% valid. But it's the way that you said 9.5, like that wasn't a damn good score.
Yeah, no,
it's almost like you sound disappointed by giving it a 9.5.
No.
But here's what I'm gonna say. And I can only say this because of the fact that the story just resonated with me. Even though I haven't had parents who died in a car crash or anything like that, I thought the plot was perfect. And I say I thought the plot was perfect because the continuity and continuation of the show, she grew, she had to fight, struggle, and understand her emotions. And that resonates with me. The development of learning those emotions and resonating and growing through that.
It sounds like characters to me.
But that's what the plot was. The plot was that. Leave me alone. The plot quite literally was that, though.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
was about her specifically growing, and how her relationship to the others was with her specifically growing, and dealing with that grief. I felt like this was, like I said, borderline perfect for trying to understand what this scenario may feel like for someone who doesn't know what their parents feel about them because they didn't express that directly. What it's like living with someone who just objectively is like, I don't have that need to be emotionally validated by others. And what does that look like in terms of growth for the character and story, and how that helps them uncover who they are? I thought the plot was amazing. 10 out of 10.
Okay. And if you don't mind, can I start this one off too?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is characters. This is my favorite category that we have. This is the most important category to me on any anime review scale or any anime period. The characters, for everything Tell just said about the plot, is why I like the character so much. Her aunt, the way she handles it, her parents, even the shit she went through with her parents. The characterization of these characters, the aunt's ex-boyfriend / boyfriend, the best friend, and the best friend coming in terms with herself and who she loves or is in love with, and how she handles the situation. Even the fucking side character who didn't get into her hospital job. The characterization of these characters is a perfect 10. They were perfect. They were perfect characters. While again, the plot was there, and it was everything you said was also the plot as well. But I don't tie those two solely together like that when I have an individual category for characters itself. And the characters itself are so well written. Dude, I still go back to that, and I will never forget this. And I really try. I talked to my mom about this too. I'm like, Mom, I want you to see this episode of this anime. She's like, what's an anime? But I'm like, that's not important right now. What's important is that you understand what I'm saying. This character depicts on exactly how I feel when it comes to loneliness. I spend a lot of time in the house. Okay, all my time is in the house, but that is where I am the happiest and the most satiated, and the way she depicted that and explained that to her niece, it was all characterized so perfect for her character, and she was written so well. They were all written so well, but the aunt specifically was written so well. That's why I understand why you gave the plot a 10 as well. But the characters to me is the strongest point of the show. And because I have a hierarchy as to what is the strongest in this show, being the characters, that's why I couldn't give anything else a 10 other than the characters.
So everything the Brothersaurus Rex just said, I agree with it. he ain't said nothing wrong. I think it is so wild how every character here is so well written. Like there's almost never been, in my opinion, a series I've watched where these characters all feel so alive in terms of their thought process on just what's happening. I'm thinking about like the boyfriend and like the other guy, like what was he the assistant? How they were sitting there talking in the cafe, and he's just like, oh, you're that kind of guy, and they're sharing their past stories, and it's like, it's so like, yeah, the lawyer, it felt so like this is really two guys who, mind you, are different, but they're on a emotional wavelength where they're not super macho, and he's explaining like, look, man, I used to be this kind of guy, and I'm just not that anymore. I realized through some self-evaluation what I am. These characters were amazing in every regard, and the only character, in my opinion, to really hate was the dad, but it wasn't even necessarily that. It was just more of the fact that you just didn't understand his motivations as well. Yeah. He didn't talk about what his motivations were. And that's what the character was supposed to reflect. The negligence of what a parent who doesn't explain what their ambitions and wants for you are. Mm-hmm. And the mother who also did not do the same thing, but at least she wrote it down. Yep. And there's just so much. These characters were amazing. They were great archetypes, great, a great reason to just stay engaged with every aspect of this show.
They were logical, bro. They were logical. All of them. Very logical. And you understood their perspectives. And even if you didn't agree with some of their perspectives, you understood it. You got it. It was brilliant. The show was brilliant for the characters in itself. And you know what? I was looking at something that, as you were talking, the only other characters that reminded me of this was A Place Further in the Universe. Like that's to show you when you were discussing that. The only other show that had me feeling this way was A Place Further in the Universe. I absolutely love those characters in that show. It was so sweet. That one just had a slightly better pacing for me personally. So that's probably why that has a higher score, spoiler alert, than this one. But I digress. Tell, are you ready?
Let's go.
Animation for Journal with a Witch is 8.5. For Polow is an 8.5 for Tell. I shouldn't talk in third person, sorry. Sound design, I gave it a 9. Tell gave it a 9.5. Pacing, I gave it a 9.5. Tell gave it a 9.5. Plot, I gave it a 9.5. Tell gave it a 10. Characters, I gave it a 10. Tell gave it a 10. For my overall score being a 9.3, and for Tell's score being a 9.5, which makes Journal with Witch overall score, unironically, the same score as TCB, a 9.4.
Hold up. That score is wrong.
Why?
Because you said I gave sound design a 9.5. I gave it 8.5. Our score should be the same.
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad. Yeah, 9.3. Pulling off from TCB. Yeah. 9.3 for both of us. Objectively, how do you feel about that?
Personally, I feel like it like emotionally it ranks higher.
Emotionally.
But just as a this is how I would describe it to somebody. I feel like that's right where it sits. I think that's damn near perfect.
Yeah. So that puts it above or below, however you want to look at it. I'm going to go with below. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash on our list, which is number 11, which makes this not. Which makes this. God damn it. God.
Number 12.
Number 12. Oh, okay, I'm gonna do it later.
You want me to do it?
Yeah. Dude, the problem is my keyboard. Let me tell you. Side tangent. My keyboard had something in between the certain keys, so every time I would type, it would smash it. It just I had to pick it out, and then ever since I did that, I think I bent one of the caps or something like that. But yeah, put it at number 12, which is a great place for it. Yeah. Now, if you want to see our list, just go to our Discord, discord.miccheckWifeWaifu. There is a section called review for your use only in the Discord. It's like, I think it's at the very top of the Discord. So you can get access, you can get a link to the list, and you can see the list in its entirety. The review scoring scale is also in there as well. So if you wanted to check it out, feel free and use it to your heart's content. I'm sure you guys will love it. Anyway, now let's get into this theory of that I've got. Now, this theory will be, let me actually put it in the show notes right now. This video was fantastic. It's an hour long though, and I watched all of it. This is going to have no spoilers for the light novel. He's like us, where he didn't read the light novels, or maybe he did, but he didn't mention anything from it. And it blew my mind. So I'm going to paraphrase a lot. I'm going to take this hour and paraphrase a lot. So season 1 through 3 and ReZero. Is there anything in ReZero, Tell, that you can think of that baffles you about it when you take off your trope blinders?
Baffles me about it. You talking about the entirety of the show, or like any specific moments?
Let's talk about the beginning of it, from when he first meets Amelia.
I guess more of the fact that he knows what an isekai is in general, but it's not really. I don't.
I'll tell you what bothered me. Why was he so in love with Amelia? That is the theory we're going to discuss today. This guy mentioned that the writers are cooking because, for one, when you take off the trope blinders, you see that he falls in love with this girl at first sight. What we know about Subaru is that he gets isekai in this world in a different way than anybody else we've ever seen. Everybody else we've ever seen get hit by a truck or they die in some awful, horrible way. He just he has a panic attack. As he's having his panic attack, his anxiety begins to fade to black, like everybody that has anxiety has. It fades to black, and then he opens his eyes and he's in Lagunica. Okay. That is not your typical way of coming into an isekai. So the theory goes, he meets Amelia and he falls in love with her at first sight. Why? Well, what reason? She's just a normal girl with long silver hair. And he spends maybe a total of 15 hours with her throughout that day. Not counting the times he revived it or whatever over and over and over. But he spends a total of 15 hours with her and he's in love with her and he goes back to the mansion. Then he don't really spend much time with her after that. Okay. All of this time after that is spent with Rem. Episode 18 comes by. When episode 18 comes by, we already know what the hell that is. That is the most important episode of ReZero's history. When Rem confesses that her love for Subaru, when she talks about how much she loves him and how much he's a hero and how much they spent together. And he even talked about let's run away together, blah, blah, blah. After she confesses, he says to her, I love Amelia. Now, mind you, up until that time, he spent a total of maybe 20 hours with her. No real time with her, no real dates, no real significant time with her. But all this time and love that he spent, or time and he spent with Rem, is there. The theory goes like this. What if, if you don't want to know anything about a possible theory, what if Stella is Amelia, from the future? And what if Stella uses Return by Death on herself to go back in the past to tell Subaru to kill her, because that's his goal from at the end of season 3, to kill her, to stop her from becoming Stella, because maybe Stella is just the witch authority of what is it, lust, or whatever her authority is, whatever Stella authority is, attached to Amelia. What if they already lived a life together? They already fell in love with each other. They already spent so much time together. Then she became the witch of Stella because of the authority that gets attached to her. And she sends Subaru all the way back in time, even before he got isekai'd, as a set contract, alongside giving him Return by Death, as a set contract to come back and to make sure that he stops Stella from existing, or killing her in quotation marks for the podcast listeners, to stop her from ever existing again, because we know that the history of Stella is that she fucking destroyed half the world, or whatever the story goes. I forgot how it went, but she destroyed half the world, so she was this witch that everybody hated. So what if that's the case, where he's so in love with this girl that he barely knows, because he already spent a life with her. He was already in love with her. He already has this deep inkling feeling that he's been committed to her for however long it's been for them to live a life together and her becoming Stella. Isn't that fucking insane to think about?
That. So there's some things I got to put together with that, but I'm going to say this first, right? Because time does work different for Subaru. Even he stated that, right? Where the fact that when he returns by death, he's spending that time with them. So even in those scenarios, the first person he met was Amelia. Mm-hmm. He died. He meets Amelia again, and he dies again. And now he's trying to keep Amelia, not trying to avoid dying. He's with Amelia, trying to figure out what her situation is. He goes to Ursula. What's her name? Ursa? The assassin chick. Yeah. They go to do that. He sees Amelia die there. He dies there. He goes back. So even if it was 15 hours for that day, the overall actual time he spent there was far more than that. Irrelevant. Because the first time he's seen her, he was blushing and in love and gushing. Right. But I was going to say that also applies to Rem, because he spent all that time with Rem dying and having to see it and the emotional turmoil and whatnot that he gets through that. I'm trying to think about like, cause he was getting ready to like cross the street, and he just had that like.
He was in a parking lot and he had a panic attack. Yep.
Because he walked out the corner store, the convenience store.
As soon as he walked out the convenience store, actually, it wasn't even in the parking lot. He was at the convenience store front door.
Yeah, he was on the sidewalk.
Yep.
Yeah, he wasn't in the parking lot. He was just at the sidewalk.
Yep.
And he clenched himself, fell down, and
Yep. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like when he said this theory, I'm like, yo, that blew my fucking mind because it explains a lot. Think about it like this. How the fuck is Regulus Betelgeuse series? How are all these people going to be named after the solar system constellation, Earth's constellation, if it wasn't Subaru? Or it could have been somebody else that came over for this world, because we do know that other people. But I just was thinking to myself, like, maybe it was from Subaru. Maybe he named them at some time in the future or something like that. That's why they were all like, oh, I smell the witch's thing. Not just because of Stella's return by death, but because of the attachment that he has to Stella by being with her for all those years, quote unquote, that they probably were or were not together. I'm thinking he was already in love with Amelia again. Amelia, just like how Betelgeuse got a change from getting his authority, she got the authority that Stella now has. Okay. And then from there, she tasked Subaru, because she even says, hey, Subaru, I need you to kill me when he meets all the other witches. Like, I need you to kill me. I love you so very much. I care for you so very much. I need you to care about yourself. You're supposed to kill me. What if that means you're supposed to stop Stella from existing in the first place by using return by death that she gave you? Like that, it blew my mind, because I'm like, a lot of shit that don't make sense makes sense now. And mostly the fact that how the hell do you fall so deeply in love with a girl you barely know? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you talk about the times that he did come return by death, none of that is even close equivalent to what the Ram that love shared or showed. Yeah. Including saving his life and he saving hers, and she, you know what I'm saying? Like all this shit that happened in between.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane to think about. We probably won't know. He says in the video, we probably won't know for another 8 years, but
yeah. And if you do think about it, yeah, let's even go a step further, because although Rem also confessed her love for him
in a way more dramatic
way. And I'm only going to say this because I don't think it's a typical confession of love, but Beatrice did the same thing. And for him to still have his focus on Amelia after having to save Beatrice and be saved by Beatrice, you know what I mean? She did the same thing. Yeah. Let's be fair. He spent also likely more time with Beatrice
That's true.
than he did.
Damn, I didn't think about it too.
Well.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you think about it, and I would not be surprised if that ended up becoming a thing, because it makes it make more sense now that it doesn't matter, because he's already been blinded by the emotional context that he's already had in possibly another life, right?
Yeah.
That the love for Beatrice, the love for Rem will never compare to the love he has for Amelia, because of what he's feeling through the relationship with Stella.
And it could be a subconscious thing, right? Like, subconsciously, right. You probably already know that something is telling you, like, or maybe it could even, and then this is off of his theory, but what if, like, it's just a simple fact that this spell that Stella put on him is just a spell of just, you can't love anybody else as much as you love me. You know what I'm saying? It could simply be that, but I think more so of a theory that he's already been in love with her is more poignant, because of the fact that, like, everything that happens in this show, when you see Betelgeuse and his love for his the elf girl, the elf lady, what's her name? I forget what her name was, but the love that they shared together.
Now, Stella is the witch of envy.
Envy, yeah.
Right. And that would also make sense if, let's say, they were, because let's even go, let's say, what if he did love Amelia so much to where something happened, right? And Stella hated that love so much that this is what she cursed Subaru with.
It could.
And it would be like, now Subaru has no idea what it is or who she is or what's going on. Specifically why he's so attracted to her. So she's just stripping away every other thing, and Subaru's trying to get there.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could be what we said. So we go back to what the theory is, and then you go back to the fact that nobody else can remember return by death other than a person that has return by death. So when Stella used return by death after she used return by death and then gives it to Subaru, because that's how it kind of goes, right? Like she uses return by death. Subaru goes back to the past. He's in the convenience store. And then she gives him return by death by squeezing his heart and then making him wake up in Lagunica again. What if... No, I'm basically just saying the same thing I've been saying. Yeah. What if... She just... It's just point blank that... Yeah, I'm thinking about everything she said when all the witches were talking. She was like, "Hey, listen, I need you to kill me. I need you to love yourself more." And maybe that's how she got cursed with Stella's power. Holy shit. I'm not sorry. My mind is racing.
Yeah. And that's exactly, and hear me out. I hate the fact, cause I haven't seen anything other, but it does differentiate with the fact that Satella and the Witch of Envy are two separate people that just inhabit the same body. Right.
Yep.
So because Subaru was so in love with Satella, the persona Witch of Envy was like, I won't let you have this.
Or Amelia, and then...
Right. So you fall in love with Amelia, and Satella will forever long for that relationship, making her forcibly envious of Amelia. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm only saying that because, like, if they are two different personas, the witch and Satella are not always going to be on the same accord.
Well, the witch is Satella.
Right, but it's a different persona. So it means that, like, for instance,
okay, hear me out, because I'm getting confused now. When you say Satella, you're talking about the Witch of Envy.
Yes.
And Amelia is different than Satella and the Witch of Envy.
Yes.
Okay, so remember, you got to make sure you
remember. You remember? Yes.
Amelia's Amelia. Satella is the Witch of Envy.
Yes. So okay. What I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying to fortify the theory that you gave me, right? Satella and the Witch of Envy, they are one body, but not one mind.
See, you keep saying Satella and the Witch of Envy. Satella is the Witch of Envy. Right. And Amelia is different. So,
but they are two different personalities.
Amelia and Satella are two different personalities. Not Satella and the Witch of Envy. They're the same. They're one and the same. Unless you just look something up.
This is what I already thought it was. It's not even necessarily, because I was just trying to clarify, to get a picture of who Satella was.
Yeah. That's what I always thought. I always thought Satella is the Witch of Envy. I didn't know what she was the witch of at first, but I knew she was a witch. I just didn't know what she was the witch of. Right.
But what I'm saying is, do you remember in season 2, when Satella comes into the village and she literally just, like, she's wiping everything out and she's coming for Subaru?
Yes.
She looks like Amelia, but her adornment, her clothing and everything is different.
It's the black. Yeah.
Right. So, and I could be wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Amelia and Satella are different people.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, Amelia and Satella are not the same people. Right. But what I'm also saying is that Satella and the Witch of Envy are still two different personalities. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying the authority of the Witch of Envy is different than Satella herself.
So it's a different
one in the same.
It's a different mind. It's a different combination. So for instance, Satella is envious of the relationship that Subaru currently has with Amelia, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because the Witch of Envy has cursed Subaru with that return by life or return by death, and he is forever in love with Amelia at this point. So Satella just has to watch through the eyes of the Witch of Envy, who she loves someone else.
See, yeah. I look at it different. And this is the way I look at it different. I still keep them separate. Okay. Emilia and Satella. Subaru loves Emilia because he loved Emilia all the way up until when she became Satella. Understand what I'm saying?
Right.
She became Satella because she was given the Witch of Envy's authority. This is my thought process. She became Satella. Emilia became Satella because she got the Witch of Envy's authority. When she got the Witch of Envy's authority, she became envious of maybe every other girl around a Subaru, because for some reason all these other girls are attracted to Subaru. So I'm thinking, because that happened, it caused her to then spaz out like Betelgeuse did when he got his authority. He turned into an absolute lunatic. So I'm thinking that enhanced Satella's envious side, and she did something she wholeheartedly regrets. Maybe wiped out half of the population again, like the history says, before all this has even happened. Maybe she did that again, and then because she's the one that killed all the witches too. So maybe she did all of that again, and it completely ruined the world. And Subaru got through to her like, yo, what you're doing is completely wrong. And she said, okay, well then I need you to kill me. And she sends him back in time with Return by Death. You know what I'm saying? Because she obviously has the control over Return by Death because it is her authority. So she fucking returns everything back to where it was before Subaru got there in the first place. Gave him the Return by Death so he can then go towards the future and kill her eventually.
Or what's fucked about that? Or
prevent Emilia from getting the Witch of Envy's authority and becoming Satella.
Because what that basically means, brother, Subaru is bound to kill the woman he loves, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It hurts in every stretch of the way.
I do love ReZero.
So much. So very much. And we can be completely wrong. All of this can be completely wrong. Including in this video, he says that he can be completely wrong. But I'm just like, that is the best theory I've heard of this show, because it totally makes sense when you take a step back, take off the trope blinders he mentions, and say, why the fuck would he love her so much? Why would you decline something from this adorable, beautiful girl who is your hero and she's your hero? Like, it's just so many more reasons why you shouldn't love Emilia, opposed to why you do.
Other than the fact that she's like the first person you saw.
Yeah. Other than that.
One of the first 3 people you saw.
But that's why you remove the trope blinders, right? So you remove that and you're like, okay, but why? And then it's not really a good reason why. But that's other than having this contract or, whatever the case may be, or of already knowing who she is. It's I get chills thinking about it. I love it though. I love the show so very much. Just like I love this podcast. Don't tell nobody I said this, but this is probably one of the best anime podcasts ever.
Top one.
I'm at Polow Pornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, and comment if you can. That'd be great. And then rate us on all podcast services. We'd appreciate that as well. And as always, Mike, check.
Man, that's gonna be crazy.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?